Today we're talking, today is the last day of the season after Easter, where we're talking about creation spirituality. Next Sunday is Pentecost, when we give thanks for the Spirit showing up. Not that the Spirit isn't here today, but we celebrate the Spirit's presence with us next week and the birthday of the church. But today we're still talking about creation spirituality, which names that we were created with the inherent goodness of God. That there is a spark of God's goodness within all of us. That Christ light that we may not acknowledge, but is there within each of us. But at the same time, creation spirituality also names that there's a tension that is also present because life is also not as good as it should be. Life is not the way God intended it to be. And so there is this brokenness between what God had hoped for and what God wanted and the reality that we live as life. And so I call this sermon Covenanting in Our Brokenness, because I want us to look at and think about what we can learn from our brokenness. There was, in the 19th century, there was a famous theologian named Søren Kierkegaard who named that the church would diminish over time because of entertainment. That with this new thing called entertainment in the 19th century, people had a way of forgetting about their problems. They could get away from the pain of their life. When there was no place, where there was no other way to escape the pain, people came to church because they needed to hear words of hope. They needed to know that there was something greater out there for them. But once we started to have ways to entertain ourselves, ways to medicate ourselves, ways to distract ourselves from the pain of our lives, we had less need of church. That's a way of looking at the church that people don't talk about very often. That we only have good news to people who are in pain. But when I talk to people who are in pain, for whom life is not what they had hoped it would be, you hear that that's when a lot of us find God or even go looking for God. If you listen to someone who feels that they have lost everything, it's in losing everything, when there's nothing else left, that they find God. God is what's left. God's love is what's left. Deep within themselves. And it's in listening to our hearts that we can hear that love.